what the SOP, the new SOP actually lays out, what it means in practice and how it changes the experience for victims.
Yeah, and I think you summarized it pretty accurately right at the start of this, webinar that you and I are doing, that the SOP essentially lays out 2-3 very key vital pieces of information. The first is it really tells victims what they should do, or it seeks to tell victims what they should do if they are in this predicament, if an intimate image of theirs is shared. It talks to them about what are the reporting options available to them. They can report directly on the platforms. They can report via the National Crime Reporting portal. They can report via the one-stop centers. They can go to law enforcement or to lawyers to get help and support. So it tells them what can you do if you find yourself in this situation. Second, it tells platforms what are the expectations out of them. It talks to them about how they should act speedily in these cases and try and take down the content within 24 hours. It talks about platforms are expected to use things like hash matching and image matching technologies to try and reduce the burden from victims to keep on reporting this content once the platform is aware of it. So that's the second piece of the puzzle. The third piece of the thing, which for me was super interesting, was to see how the government is thinking about coordination between its various arms, things like the Sahyog portal, a clearinghouse, what it sounds like to me. And again, I'm not a legal person, and this is just my understanding of it based on what I saw. And that's what the most critical piece, in which I'd love to learn more about in the days to come. How is this portal going to work? How are they going to share the hashes back with participating or with platforms? Because just getting the hashes is step one, but to really stop this abuse from happening, you have to have a system whereby you're sharing these hashes with tech companies to make sure that they are keeping an eye out for this content and stopping it from being shared. And this crime, as we all know, is unfortunately global. It's not that the content will just, the perpetrator and the victim are based in one country, or it's going to be shared by people who are just in one country. So having that global coordination plan in place, leveraging systems like the National Center for Missing and Exploited Children's Take It Down, or stop NCII.org, so that it speaks to global systems which have been created in this space. That's what I'm very curious to learn more about. The other thing that really stood out for me was some expectations which the SOP lays out for tech companies, which I want to see how tech companies can actually enforce on those. So one of them that stood out for me was informing victims every time someone shares their intimate image, or I wasn't clear whether it was informing victims or informing the government, but in either case, how is that technically feasible is the first question. And then second, what's in the best interest of victims? Because unlike children, adults have agency, and adults need to have some element of control in these horrific situations where they can get to decide what action do they want to take, and whether they want to be informed that someone's sharing their intimate image or not, or have they moved on from that stage. They just want it taken down, but they don't want to wake up every morning with an alert saying someone saw your intimate image or shared your intimate image. It just re-traumatizes them every time you get that kind of a notification. So I have a lot of questions about the SOP as well, which I'm hoping that we'll get clarity on in the days to come.